better experiences. So that's why we're here. And so welcome again. And I will hand you over to our facilitators for the day so that we can get started. So I'm going to introduce the first one, and then he's going to introduce the rest, and then the show will start. So let's welcome Mr. Kofi Jemfi, who in his day job, he is the sustainability lead. Is that still true? Yeah. Sustainability lead at Unilever, where he helps them think about how to better sort of plastics and so forth. And then he's also examining facilitator.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I hope at the end of the session you will be pleased to be here. So I'm Kofi. I work with Unilever with day job in sustainability and then sourcing. And then my night job, I work with Design Thinking Ghana Hub as a workshop facilitator and project associate. So today, what to expect today? All right. So we're going to have this for ourselves, where we're going to have all of the necessary discussions. So we hope to break down into breakout rooms where we do an activity-based, we do activity-based activities. Where we're going to help you, we're going to share some design thinking tools that can help us co-create and come up with say experience for a personal group. We're going to put that experts in the room who will be leading most of the plenary sessions and then guiding us in terms of helping us understand what the current outside tourism landscape is. And I have the honor to introduce him. The long bio, I'll try to summarize it. And so for we have the honor to have Pajon with us. And Pajon, pardon my read. Pajon is the culture and tourism advocate and is the initiator of the Sea Ghana, a domestic tourism simulation movement. Pajon has been named one of the 30 tourism ambassadors named for Ghana by the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, a destination management practitioner. Pajon, whose company Native Adventures provides the WangoWango travel experience across the country. Pajon said something that I would like to quote quickly. There are many amazing things about Ghana to be proud of, which is really true. Welcoming this new role, Pajon said the tourism narrative ought to be flipped and begin to move widely, and it needs to be told. The tourism story needs to be told by Ghanaians in all its sincerity and rawness. Focusing on great experiences as a major delivery item, Pajon believes that showing our guests humanity and giving them the positive experience that we all associate with being Ghanaian is key to delighting the ideal tourist. I don't want to read everything else, so I would like to give Pajon the floor to help us start off the conversation. So it's going to be a very open, big family conversation, and without much, Pajon, you don't have to stand, yes.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. So you just arrived at an attraction, very beautiful new reception center. When you got there, the center was locked, and the person who managed the center was called for the township. Came walking slavishly in. We've been standing at the car park for 5-10 minutes, and when they come in, the reception they give you is low part. Now, scenario 2. You arrive at an attraction, a destination. There are 2 people sitting under a big tree playing drums. As soon as they see you, they get up and begin smiling and welcome you and to the destination and are ever, they're just bending over backwards to help you. If you have to just go back to any of these destinations, which one would you go back to?
Second scenario.
Second scenario. So we can all see that we have the second scenario is predominant in Ghana.
The first scenario.
You will go back to the first scenario. All right, we'll come to that. Or maybe can you tell us why? Because it's just
I'll go back to the first scenario because it looks like it's well structured. There's a reception, that means there are people who are managing the place.
that means.
Yeah, that means
But what does a reception mean?
it's
A
supposed to be.
building?
Yeah, the place where the participators or organizers of that side stay and welcome people.
But when you got there, it was locked, and the person was in the town,
Yeah.
and they went to call the person.
Yeah.
And I said they walked sluggishly in. We were waiting for 10 minutes. While on the other side, in the other scenario, there were people under a tree.
So I'm anybody from town who is saying that and can come and take me on that route.
And then even if they welcome you, does it matter if they're from the town?
I wouldn't prefer that. I would prefer to be with the reception.
Okay, yeah, that's your preference. Anybody else prefers that? Wow, you are alone. You see, a reception does not have to be a building. That's basically my point. A reception does not have to be. You know what I mean? You don't need brick and mortar to have a reception. So people sitting under the tree, as soon as they saw you park a car, put the draft aside, they got up very excited. The warmth of the people. That is the crux of what this whole thing is about. So they've got all the things that you need to welcome somebody. The only thing they don't have is they don't have a roof over their head. Does it matter? As you can see, that doesn't matter. So here in Ghana, the second scenario seems to be what happens, even though it's not quite the kind of reception that you get all the time. But there are no structures. There are no buildings per se. Buildings are being put up now for some of the facilities, some of the attractions, which is great. But if the people do not understand that tourism is a people business, and that attitude of the people is what is paramount, that has to change, then we're probably going to be going around in circles for some long time to come. I think that we all are witnesses to the current situation with regards to domestic tourism, where COVID brought a scenario for us, a situation. COVID kept us indoors for over a year, and we're all having fever. We were all itching to just get out. And the tourism sector has taken the bull by its horn and decided that, look, let's do tourism, let's take the people out. So even before anything was organized, even before COVID was lessened or put aside, people were just going out, especially when it seemed like you go and come, And he wasn't going to stay in a hotel room where you are afraid somebody just left there yesterday who might have had COVID. And so you're going to sleep on the same bed or use the same pillow. No, you're going to come. So you're taking your own sheets, you're taking your own pillowcases. So our gradual move to today was ad hoc, but it just worked very fine because we entered what we are in today by using. So when you go in a company, you're using your own materials. So the confidence in travel has been built very, very strongly and very, very quickly. Because again, obviously, you don't hear any stories about people getting COVID because they're traveling. So it is a very safe environment for us here in Ghana. I think that I was just having a chat with Intiman, and right now there's such a boom in the trips. Everybody is organizing the trip. You go online, go on Instagram, go on Facebook, you see that there's some flyer or other promoting the trip, especially this. I mean, I'm seeing so many, and you know, those of us who are in the business or who have been in the business for a while, I'm sure they'll side with me that you just sit back and laugh. Not laugh because we've been there before. We also were very excited and very exuberant, and you know, as soon as there was a holiday coming, we were planning. The thing is, you all know, when you put a flyer out, you have 300 people who say, "Wow, this is great. This looks great. I want to go." You know, they really call, make inquiries, and then you listen. You know, Charlie, I had 20 calls today. You know, this thing is looking very good. In 2 weeks' time, sort of calling the people back. And here in Ghana, I mean, the response they give is the same, and it's just humorous because it's, I have a funeral. Oh, I'm sorry. So then on the day that you have to go, now, domestic tourism is very speculative. When I say speculative, what I mean is that you don't have too much time to plan it, and you're just speculating. You're just anticipating that you get into it. So, when, as opposed to an inbound tour, you know probably even a year before that you have 20 people coming. So when you're planning, you know you're planning in a 20-seater car. You're booking 20 hotel rooms, you're booking everything is 20. But with this domestic tourist scenario that we have now, at which point do you book a saloon car or a van or a bus? Mind you, if you book these things and you don't use them or you don't cancel them at a certain time, they set charge. So you're always on it. I know my pocket has been burned so many times. Because come the day, you're lucky to have 10 people. Did I say 10 people? You know? So, to the point I was making about everybody getting up and jumping on the bandwagon, everybody's planning a tour, you know, let's go to, especially this Easter, let's go to Peru, let's go to Peru, let's go to Peru. Very exciting. At what point do they know that they're going to have 5 or they're going to have 20 so that they can book or confirm the number that we have? in that same breath, because you don't know the number of people who are coming, you have to assume that you are expecting to have 10 people or 20 people. You use that number to do your costing. And so it becomes points that probably some people off the mark. And if you don't get to the numbers, the trouble basically. I was just telling Mr. Sal that there's a boom now, and the way I see it, in another year or two, this will be nice equilibrium, because there's a lot of chaff now. The substance will be left, and those will be the people who are serious about so as it is now, a lot of people are doing it as a hobby. Those people are doing it as a hobby. Don't even know that they're doing it as a hobby. They think they're serious. They think they're doing something. You know, because yeah, this is it, the green tourism. Let's go. And the thing about this industry is that you need numbers to make it work. So you have to be able to, at the end of the year, when you check the numbers that you've done, be able to say, okay, I need to have 500 people to break even, or to start making a profit. Obviously, you can't make 500 in a day. So you decide that, okay, 500 divided by 10 months is what, 50 people a month? 50 people a month divided by 4 weeks is what? A little over 10 people every week. And we do a tour. It's not very like that you can do a tour every week. I didn't say you can't, you can, but the likelihood of you being able to get people every week is a big challenge in this economy, because travel is not part of our culture. Travel for vacation, especially, is not part of our culture. And if people travel for vacation, we have a very peculiar way of looking at it. We didn't count in where we're going to sleep, or probably even what we're going to eat, because wherever you're going for the vacation, you have a friend or a relation there with whom you're going to stay, and they're likely to feed you. So you don't look at those things as part of the cost of traveling. But now we're saying that we want to encourage people to make travel part of their culture. We want to encourage the new generation of the nation to make travel part of the culture, so that every year when they are planning their lives, maybe every quarter, they will put something aside to you to use to actually travel and visit any of the attractions that we have. The other thing too is that, yes, we have quite a number of attractions, but unfortunately, once you visited the ones, chances are you're not going to go again, because the attractions are not innovative. You know, not too long ago, with some of my colleagues, we were lamenting how maybe even a leaf we stepped on as we were going to Blue Waterfalls 10 years ago. It's still there, and we step on it today. There is no innovation. If you went to any of those traditional attractions, what you saw there 10 years ago, you're likely to see it today. I will, give the communities and the owners and the people who run it some credit now, because in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of noise, and so some of the places have started putting things together and improving the facilities and the services. But a lot of the other places, a lot of places who are not doing. But when you go again after maybe an hour, we all know there isn't much else you can do. You've seen the waterfall, you've done the wow, you've gone in, the water has eaten you. Then what? You're ready to go home. And when you go home, you're not likely to come back because you've done it. So it's not like in other jurisdictions where, for instance, you take the Disney World, every year you hear, even if you haven't been, I'm sure you hear about it, you read about it. There's always a new innovation. This year they launched Cinderella, the following year they launched Snow White. Oh, I didn't see Snow White, so I'm going to see Snow White. The following year they launched Pinocchio, so I'm going to see Pinocchio. So there's always something that is pulling me back. And that is what we lack here. That is what we lack here. And so for me, I think that if anybody is serious to join this business, they need to find some sort of a niche. And when I say that, I mean you need to identify something that you are actually versed in to add to the itineraries that you do, so that when you go, you are able to perform whatever it is to give value to the tour that you run. So WangoWango, I'm not sure how many of you have heard of WangoWango before. It's cooking, and everybody likes to eat. And so when I go on my tours, I carry the kitchen along, and and very wholesome food. Sometimes the food that I cook on the field is better than the food that I eat in field. I promise you, because it's full of vegetables and all kinds of things that we take, and so I've added that to what I do, and when I price, for instance, my tour, and somebody says, "Oh, that's a bit too pricey," I try to convince them about the value that they get. And indeed, when we do go on the tour, I've had people come back and actually, because they thought that, look, they had such a good time that what we charged was mainly. I know another tour organization, a tour operator, who's also carved another. I mean, incidentally, they're also in food, but what they do is they actually do what we call food safaris. So they've carved a niche, and these food safaris, they create tours that go to they pick one of the foods, the Ghanaian food staples, or the drink. For instance, last week they did one on cashew. So they actually invited me. I joined them. We went to a cashew farm, and then there was somebody there who taught us or explained to us how cashew is prepared, and and what you get from cashew. And I was shocked. Like you can actually make, they made burgers from cashew. And they made juice from cashew. You know, and this company is called Jolenico. So Jolenico, I'm never able to pronounce it well, so but Jolenico, and these food safaris are extremely, and those are the things that I like. You know, when you go somewhere that you can have fun and learn, and it's so much fun, as opposed to just going go to chill. As for chill, friends can come together and go to chill. Yeah. So I've left that a long time ago. You take people out, and they must learn something. Sometimes when they come on my tour, they actually stick with me to cook, and they actually learn some tricks, and they are very excited to do that. And so I think that you must all look into yourselves if you want to go into this thing and add some value to it. It shouldn't just be. There must always be some sort of learning experience. And the learning experience, either you force it, you create it, or it's an easy tour that takes you to a place where you actually learn something. I don't think we should be talking to anything because we break out and try to maybe some 5 minutes. If anybody has any questions, I'll attempt to answer. And then we can break out and then before we come back we continue. Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Amara. Talking about the second scenario.
Yes.
Yes. The question that I want to pose is: we have the Ghana Tourism Authority. We have offices across the country, and would it be that they take it upon themselves to give some training to these people that are managing this?
I'm happy you asked that. As a matter of fact, from the news we were reading and from what I know, the authority is actually running training programs. I know this gentleman is a tour guide. He participated in one of the training programs. So it's actually happening, it's actually going on. But I'll tell you something. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I just returned from my stay abroad, and I was, coming into the industry, and I was very excited. And there was a training program organized by the British Council and Ghana Tourism Authority. So, a lot of tour operators at the time, and guides and things went. And I remember the people who came from Northern Ghana. So they put out, we had sessions like this, and they talked about how, you see, our communities, first of all, the ownership of the attraction, and then the management of the attraction are two completely different things. You have to know and understand who owns the attraction. Now, we're also thinking, I'm sure a lot of us are assuming that all the attractions are, at least, should be managed by the tourism authority. But that's not true. They don't own all the attractions. Many of the attractions are actually owned by the communities, the traditional authorities, the district authorities, and a lot of them too are owned by the forestry commissioners. Okay, what the Ghana Tourism Authority has authority over is few. Is now that the authority has an ally in Parliament, which they're expecting to be passed to give the Ghana Tourism Authority the authority to sort of be the overlord of all attractions in Ghana. So whether it's owned by the traditional authority or the Ghana Tourism Authority also has a say in how. And there's a case with the Tintampo waterfalls. So the authority, the Ghana Tourism Authority, met with the community, the traditional authority who own the area, to own the waterfalls, and came into some sort of agreement with them and have helped build the reception areas and there's money is shared this way and all that. Now, the scenario in the northern region that we found was that the community felt the attractions were theirs. I mean, it belongs to us. It doesn't belong to any one person. Even if it belongs, we're all looking after it. So we have to all benefit from it. And so sometimes, even when somebody has been elected to be the person to receive the visitors and collect the fees, make a record of it, the young boys who felt that, and what about us? So I'm sure even up to now, they still have that challenge, because if you don't manage it well, it can break out into a huge community fight. It's not a joke. Not too long ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, I went to the north, and the scenario that was 10 years before, when you went to the Narabanga Mosque, is still there. I remember that before we went to the Narabanga Mosque, I checked the rate card, because the hotel had the rate card, so I checked, so I knew how much. But I deliberately, when we got there, first of all, we all came to the car. So I advised my group, there's a leader here, we're going to identify who the leader is, and the leader is who we're going to deal with. So ignore everybody. And I tell them that if I say ignore everybody, I don't mean that push them away. It just means that don't give money to anybody just because they're asking for it. So we went in, and there's a section. We went in there, how much is it? And the guy, his grandson, doesn't even know. And then he gave me a higher price. And then, so then I think I took a photocopy of it. And I showed it to him, like, don't you have this here? And it was on his wall. It was on his wall. Okay, so we started talking before we got to his room. So he probably thought what he tells me outside, we just give him money. So we had a big, thing. I said, it's embarrassing. We paid the guy who everybody was saying is, because that's another thing. You're not even sure whether he is really the one who should be. But if you hear 3 or 4 people say, oh, Muhammad, they know that Muhammad who looks after the place. So we paid him. And then 2 other guys were like, no, you have to go to them and fight broke out and So those are some of the things that happen. But hopefully, when the LI is passed and there's public education to make people understand that this is what it is, and that the Ghana Tourism Authority He's going to train you, and you are the ones who will be managing this place. Maybe the education understanding and then this will remain nice. But what was happening 20 years ago is still happening.
Okay, thank you very much. And I believe that the public education must go with community engagement.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, then to move on, talking about innovation, this our various sites. Now we say that the world is now a global village. So can we import what is happening in other innovation as far as innovation is concerned? And then talking about the food, the cooking that
If you don't know how to do, you go and try it.
So that when you go to the north, we have so many different kind of dancing. So can we add? Talking about this public education and engagement, we can also let the people know that they can also let outsiders know the various kind of dancing that.
I think that is being done. I would say that largely is being done. I mean, what I'm talking about the food thing is, I'm not saying everybody should go and cook when they go. What I'm saying is, if you look at you and you are the one who is organizing the talk, okay, and you see that there's something inherent in you that you can add to your talk to make it unique. And I just give the example of what I do and what Neko do, you know. And there are other people who may have, for instance, I mean, you could use dancing. I mean, this catering company called Mentu. They have these young men who serve, and once they've finished serving the food, they do serious dancing and choreographed dance. And sometimes people, when they hear that men's people cater an event, it's actually an incentive for people to say, "Oh, I want to go and see more of that." You know, so they've added something to what they do. So it's not every catering service that has people who dance. Every catering service serves food. Every tour company must offer a tour. But the added value of what you do, something that you are a master of, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be but something that you're interested in, so that you can sustain it. And once there's an interest, you will always find someone who can keep it going. But if you don't have an interest in it, and because you came to hear that I'm saying that do this, and I've said food, you also go into food, and then you're forcing yourself. If the person who cooks leaves, then you are in trouble. So,
Okay, thank you very much. But my advice is that, as I said, in the north we have different type of dancing. But what I'm saying that the dancing should not be only one. We have vampire, we have damba, etc. Thank you very much.
No, but your second point. What was your second point? I think you're talking about innovation. Yes. Now there's a.
And I said, can we import what is happening in
you see, and that's another thing that you have to be careful about. Especially in tourism, what you're offering is the authentic self. There's a thing in this whole thing that the DNA of Ghana's tourism or Ghana's world. What is in our DNA is what we must take. If you import, it is not in your DNA. What does it happen like? So let's say for the sake of argument, you import, you get, instead of doing the damba, then you let them do Malay or what? Somebody have all the dances you're talking about. So why must we import anything? But you see, so the point that you're trying to say, this is must do it. You think they are not doing it enough, and that's why you're saying that you must do it. And the point I'm trying to say is that precisely what you're saying is what we must do. We must do it more and do it differently, not do it by bringing in some other person or some other culture or some other heritage. We have far too many ourselves. It's not funny. I mean, what we have in Ghana as a people, as attractions around, whether it's built or whether it's natural, so many things, and you just have to find exciting ways of presenting them. It's not about seeing that these people are presenting theirs this way, so by all means we must present ours this way. No. We have to just see that this is it, we present it more exciting. I think if there's no other yes.
So thank you very much, Mando. Mando has been one of our models. Yeah, me and Mando, we keep watching after him. But then when you want to add value to something, look at where you are going. The location that you are going must tell you what you are adding to whatever it is. So you can't go to Kita and then go and dance at the wall.
Because Kita has a lot of dancing themselves.
And even with the Bobo video, they are different. So you can go to Kita 4 times and do 4 different Bobos or 4 different dances from there. So as store operators, as store drivers, let's all identify what is where we are going. Some of the times, yes, you must go to boutique first. Yes, everybody wants to see boutique first. But after seeing the first, what do you add to it? There are some people who do treasure hunt in the, going down there. They've been there, they're putting things around it. Even at the falls there's an activity that you do there. So that's part of the adding value to whatever.
So when we break out, or how are we doing it?
So
are we doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3? So all 1, 2, 3.
should we do that?
Can we do that?
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
So
I think Kofi has a few things
to say before.
Okay. And then I was just sorry for that. But if you see a little bit, because it's Joseph here.
I don't want to identify them yet.
Yes, okay, later.
Because otherwise, then everybody would want to go to them.
That's true.
So after they will be identified.
Okay, right. So I think we hold on with the questions until we are back. We are back from the breakout. So we have we brainstorm with few personas that we are going to be co-creating a typical or the best tourism experience for. Maybe before I talk about the personas, let's do the numbering so that people will not sneak into join another persona. We want to sort of force you to be where your number puts you. Then when we come back and other stuff. So maybe start from you 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1,
2,
3,
1, 3, right. Please, all ones, can we see you? No, don't move yet. Just so you see your teammates. Good. And then all twos, just look at the faces of the teammates and all threes. Right. Those online, we're going to open breakout rooms on the Zoom so you can join. Yeah, you can join from there. Right. So the first persona, team 1, your persona is a foreigner. The foreigner persona is a traditional traveler to whom It is a must to go on a vacation at least once a year to explore new things. They take their minds off whatever is happening around the year, but manage into the new things and to also experience random things. They prefer to go somewhere far from home and very different from what they are used to and what they did the previous year. Quick one. The second persona group 2 will be the persona is non-Ghanaian African. So the non-Ghanaian African is a young learner who values culture and historical significant experiences and tends to read enough in advance of their trip. They want to really understand the experiences people around the tour destination have. They also want to have their view of the tools that they use over there. And they also want to have deep experiences that enrich and maybe activities that tools that enrich the travel experience. This means that the experience begins right when the persona begins to seek out and discover the new travel information. The third persona, don't worry, your facilitators will brief you again, so just reading this out. The third persona is a typical Ghanaian. This person is the fun type. He wants to meet new people in new places for the purpose of recreation. He's quite adventurous and will do anything that sounds fun to do while they learn and relate with their environment. These are the three personas: the foreigner, the non-Ghanaian African, and then your typical Ghanaian. We have breakout rooms down there, and then so first persona goes to room 1, persona 2 goes to room 2, and then persona 3 goes to room 4. The room is already labeled, so you can easily find it down there. All right. So if there are no more questions, your facilitators will guide you as to what the activity should look like. We're going to use a few design thinking tools to try and mark out their journey. And a few other things you'll do in the breakout. We have 30 minutes. We're going to feel rushed, but of course, we want to be back here, and every group will present to us what they finally came up with. And then we're going to have to answer some questions, try to critique it a little bit. And at the end, we probably will have the best, we're not going to vote, but we see some of the ideas that come through. All right. Please take your water with you. We have some cookies and juice at the back, so you can grab any to your breakout room. We've got 30 minutes. Time starts now. Yeah, you read them there. Right, so Paulina will be facilitating for the foreigner. Derry will be facilitating for the non-Ghanaian African, sorry. And then Derry will be for foreigner, and I'll be facilitating for the typical Ghanaian because my name is Kofi.
A bit about where he's coming to. We want authentic experiences, and that would involve having indigenous food, music, experiencing indigenous food, experience dances, authentic music from the people, the way of life of the people, probably visiting some historical places, cheese palace, the museum, have a bit of Pan-Africanism as well. But then for the less good memories, Nairobi seems to be quite an unsafe place, so they might have issues with safety, but we need to ensure that, sorry, is it on?
Right, so any questions for there?
It's on YouTube, but I don't think it's videos. What's the video? What's the video? Video for 2 videos. That's this one, right? Yeah.
All right, thank you. So I think like wildlife living in West and Eastern Africa because they have that a lot there. Also, they are averse to plastic waste, so they might get shocked by the amount of plastic filled here. Transportation, you want to be careful and make sure that you don't have any breakdowns. Kenya is very high on customer service, so if you can't even beat them, make sure you match up. And then we would expect that after the trip, he'll be giving reviews on social media after posting and so on. Thank you.
Any question in the room for that? I don't. Anyone? And then, yeah, I want to find out why on the social media. Because the fact that I post stuff on social media, that's the fact that I post on social media, the fact that I post stuff on social media does not mean that is what's I don't know.
I think he's trying to say that the fact that this much talk with you doesn't mean he's going to make you take your experiences.
No, I think what you are saying is different.
I'm saying
They say they would look at the person.
Okay, so
and
we
get
don't
some
know anything
information
about
on
the
social
person
media.
coming. So the only way we can have an idea about the person is to personally I Google when I get client, I Google about them or go search for their social media handle, LinkedIn especially. LinkedIn is more professional. So I do that to have a fair idea because you don't know the person coming. So at least to get something, have a fair idea about the person. That's why we do social media search.
You don't post your interest on your page.
I post some.
Yeah, there's some. Give us an idea of the kind of person you are, so we can design something that would be of interest to you. That's the idea behind writing.
And we are not limited to just the person's social media. Once you Google a person, there are multiple areas. You can see them on Facebook, you can see them on LinkedIn, you can see maybe their name on a company website. That's one way. But I personally believe the best would be to interact with the person, right? And one mistake we also make is that we don't learn about personality types. So when you're selling a product, you need to profile and figure out what the temperament of the person is. For example, if the person is a choleric, the person just wants to the point what are the things that would happen. If it's a melancholic person, that person is a thinker, think through the process with the person. If it's a sanguine, it's a happy-go-lucky person, like let's talk about the fun stuff, the person will be excited, for example. If it's a phlegmatic person, well, they are usually, you need to be more patient with them because they take a bit more time. They don't really talk much and so on. So based on that, you know how much to say and how much not to, what to say and what not to.
Right, great. Thank you. Second brief is you ready?
Hi everyone.
Right.
So we are Vivi and our persona is Kwame. Kwame is a young typical guy. A young typical guy who loves to have fun and then is very adventurous. And these were our touch points. Our touch point was on the food, service and hospitality infrastructure, environment, product, activities, and then transportation. And during our brainstorming, we came up with a lot of ideas, and ideas were centered on the during the activities, like when we are in the tour, they are doing the tour. Most of the ideas came around this time. You notice that there was a gap for the before and then the after. So we had to restructure again and then come up with things that we can do before the tour starts and then things we can do after the tour. So some of our ideas were that when we take the environment, we have to look at the positive and negative aspects. So for the positive, we had, for the negative, we had problems of dust, loitering, and so on. And some of our positive remarks on the negative remarks was to provide them with banded nose masks or scarves. We also came up with providing them Raspberries, like, yes. Also, our biggest focus was on the food. We know that Ghanaians are very influenced, like they tend to be happy when you like serve them and feed them and all. So we decided to create more food, local foods, give them a lot of food to satisfy them. When they are satisfied, they are happy. Yes. So yes, and we also have some triggers that will bring people on board. For our triggers, we're looking at giving people discounts, the location, the type of activity that we are going to have for them, and social media activations to us. So basically, that was what we were able to come up with to make it great for families.
Narrow down the question. I have a question. Well, you lost us. You lost us. You said you gave them dustbins or
No. Like dustbins. So that when we are maybe a plastic bag, we can carry a plastic bag around. So in case they lose that, we will have that. Yes, for the city park
every 10 minutes. Okay, well done. I think since this is a domestic tourism seminar, I'm very keen on this. The positives and negatives, I didn't get them very clear.
So during our brainstorming, we came up with the negative aspects of the tour that we wanted to organize. And some of the points that we noted for transportation was that heat issues can come up. And our goods, they suggested we go with the public transport at the junction. So the negative aspect of the junction was that there's going to be heat, it's going to be overcrowded, and not spacious enough the comfort. So we turned our negative into positives to encourage people to come. So we decided that we are going to get a comfort car if we are going to organize a tour. We are also going to make sure provision of the an AC bus or some years. And also the number of people, if initially we are going with 50 people, we reduce it to probably 30 or 25 so that we can just get a smaller with 2 buses or 3 buses. Yeah. That was some of the ways we were able to turn our negative into positives. Any more questions? Thank you.
So we are group one. Yeah. We are group one, and then we are looking at the foreigner, and we try to focus on what the foreigner wants because we engage in some Zoom meeting where they give us his ideas and things that he wants, and some of the difficulties he also went through. To preparation and everything. So first of all, we look at his transport, and first of all, he's going to fly in from his base to where we are, and then we are looking at tickets, and then the airline that is bringing. So that we give some suggestions to him. Delta is direct. There are few direct flights. If he also wants to cut and divide his trips, he can do a transit with other airlines that would get him to Ghana. And then when he arrives here, we are looking at where he's coming from. So we have a comfortably, 4x4 for him that will pick him from the airport and then straight to his base, which is the accommodation that he's going to have. We look at that one too, and we realize that we need to give him a comfortable accommodation for a few days because he said he wanted to experience the culture, but then we do also want to give him a culture shock by taking him to
the community where he wants to enjoy. So first of all, first 2 days we give him a good accommodation and then some good food to eat. Then after that, he would also want to experience our services and hospitalities, which he meet a few people in the community. And then because he's a foreigner, he's not seen a lot of these things before, so he wants to enjoy that. And then he has some wonderful activities that he would also do, which is the Kakum National Park, the castles that he wants to visit, because he said a lot about the Black history back in America, so he wants to have something to do with that one too. And then so he enjoys the Black History Month, and then also we look at some of the products that he wants to take back home, which is like the cabins, our apparels, dresses that he wants to wear. So we got a good tailor for him to get some few shirts and then some few shorts that he can also take back home. As for the environment, whatever we give him, he loves it because he said this is his first time coming to Africa. So wherever we took him, being it the village, being it the cities, especially Makola Market, because he has never seen that before. All he knows is the beautiful carnivals that he sees. But for a market of Makola, he has never seen that. So that was what we gave our foreigner. And then, he went back safely in a Delta flight.
All right. So finally, were there any aha moments from the breakout sessions? Anything that's happened in capital that mention it, and then we will
we had it in our presentation, but I had to skip that because we had limited time. Considering like having first aid, basic first aid whenever you're traveling, whether you're doing adventure or even food tours. Food tours could be an adventure too because it's not something they are used to. So having first aid kits and then also being trained if possible, or at least having medical personnel you can stand by, you could call if you don't have the requisite knowledge. And another thing that personally I do is to figure out where the closest hospital is, wherever you are visiting, so that in case of anything, you know how quickly you can evacuate your clients.
any moments? Right. Then finally, the question we want to ask is if you have any interesting tourism experience in Ghana you want to share with you. Coming off, I'll give you some time to think about. But during our brainstorming session, John mentioned something that's on my mind. They were on a trip to keep 3 points. They got to a spot. They saw the lighthouse. They checked Google Maps. It's 40 minutes. Can everybody walk? Yes, we can walk. They get out of the truck because the road was bad, and they had to walk for 2 hours. So I think my aha moment is don't trust Google Maps when you have 3 points, right? Any aha moment? I mean, travel tourism, Ghana travel tourism experience. One to share before we close.
So we had some volunteers come to my uncle's hospital and then went to the Kusum training. And when we got there, they were like, "Oh, that's beautiful. You need to go there. You have to." They sold it to us, and then we went, and the island was like the size of my palm.
Anybody wants to share? Okay, Chef.
Yeah. There's this guy, when you're going on Kumasi Road, I've forgotten the village name, but there's a village you have to turn and you go and sit on the motorbike to the guy's farm. There's a foreigner. I don't know, most of you have seen him on Facebook or any other thing. And that's my first time. These ladies, they are black women filmmakers in the US, and they came here and they said, "We want you to take us to this man." I don't even know the man. Now I have to go search the guy
And the guy was saying, oh, it's not far. When you get to someone, you are here. No, when you get to my place. We drove to the place. We got into the point. We are here. Where are you? Oh, don't worry. The motorbike is coming. We'll take you there. Oh. Then this guy drove us to a certain place. The bridge was, broken down. We cannot go there. We have to be on the motorbike for 30 minutes to get to where it is. They have only 2 motorbikes. And I have 15 people in my bus. And we have to do 3 people on the motorbike to get to the place. And I said, no, I'm not going to allow that because, number one, these are foreigners. Some of them are not used to this motorbike. They are going to put 3 people on it. If it will take us 2 hours to get everybody there, I would prefer that one than to take 3 people on it and whatever happened on the way, I don't know. But lo and behold, they spent 4 hours there and they said that was it. We are not going anywhere. Let's go to the hotel and sleep. Whatever they wanted was they were coming to Ghana, they got it there, and they are okay. And this is just a farm, a small farm there. But the guy was doing something that I don't know where he got that idea from. Apparently, he stayed in Australia for some time, and that's a great grandfather's farm or land. So he came back and established that, and he's built this mad house in there. And people are coming in from all walks of life just to come there and enjoy that small farm that he has there, and teaching people the herbal way of healing. Yes. So we have something here that me and you, we have to make good use of it. Herbal medicine, number 1.
It was a couple surprises and also take the risk.
Yeah, I also wanted to share an experience. So I was traveling I joined a group to Lake Levy in the Volta region. It was actually a coffee tour. And one of my major experiences, it had been a long time since I had been to the Volta region, but one of the things that really came to my mind when we were going up the hill and down the hills was that the fact that not taking those steps to actually explore the country was one of the major things I did. So literally, I forgot the name. Cindy, maybe you might know, but then there's this place that before you descend into the town of Britain, it's just like an unending winding of hills, very green. You see the whole, hilly side. I forgot the name, but then it literally made it really look like chicken change. Yeah. Yeah, probably. I know it was a Ewe name, so I can't. It was beautiful, and I think that one of the ideas that came to my mind was the fact that sometimes you are going on trips, sometimes as a vacation, relaxing, or sometimes you're even going for work, or we don't take time to document the new areas and the new discoveries. Like, it was super green, super hilly, and it was just amazing. And then descending into the yeah. And when we got into the town, so we visited a coffee farm. So it was actually my first time going into a coffee farm. I didn't even know that, I knew there's cocoa and then some areas of coffee production done. I didn't know we had that much coffee. And one other ideal that also came to mind is that sometimes when we're on these trips, we don't take time to also highlight the economic activities happening in those communities. So these coffee farms are owned by women. It's actually like women owned. And some of the farms are all the way up the hill, and we had to trek for like an hour. And one maybe idea for design thinking maybe for that area would be that how they are able to transport the coffee beans after they have harvested them from the hills and then trek it an hour. So how do we then get their economic activity down to the market? So that was actually one of my experiences.
Great. We are just 8:30, so we are closing now. Any last one? Then we go on to closing. Last one. Okay, go ahead. Last one. Go ahead.
Okay, the last one.
Okay, so during my research time, I was asked to do something that is unique to me, and I was thinking about hometown is an interesting place you should do, but I've never been there. So my field of study was archaeology. I did a lot of research looking at what people have done, and then I decided to do the excavation. But after the study, I realized that there were a lot of, let's say, bones or let's say bones of goats and things like sheep of that sort. But in the community, they didn't have so many goats and sheep in there. So I went back to do some form of ethnography, like to stay in the community and then understand what was happening. So during the time, I kept asking people, what religion do you ascribe to? I said, I'm a Christian. And then, they have a priest. They don't have a chief, but they have a priest. This place is called Oposmas. And as part of their tradition, should anyone die, you have to buy a goat and cleanse the community. And then part of it is eaten as part of the ritual. So they all said they were Christians and they don't engage in, let's say, fetish activities. But whilst I was there for that 20 days, there were about 6 goats killed. I was surprised because although they are ascribed as Christians, whenever someone loses a relation, they realize that this is something that we have to do to cleanse. And it made me realize that this is actually a living cultural experience that you could advertise to people, because this is not something that you are telling people about, but they can actually experience it. So,
I think COVID mine is not a chemistry. I like to ask my brother a better question. You remember that you said when you travel to the village, there was a booking when the great. Do you advise the man to repent and also to make this what they call yes the number of motorbikes? Thank you.
So, good question. We had a long discussion on it.
And he was telling us that he doesn't have that power to say, I am going to do it. And even if he has the money to do it, the traditional leaders will say, bring the money, we are going to do it. You see, so that is the challenge he has there. So he decided, okay, whoever is coming to me, I'll tell him the pros and cons in there. And if the person is ready to come, he or she will come. So that's a communication he has with people who wants to visit him in the farm.
Thank you. In conclusion, I'll share my quick experience. If you're traveling with a dog, by the law of the country, you're supposed to tell counsel that I didn't know I was traveling with a dog, and police arrested me for that. Like, how did you get police? He says, yes, he reads the law. Actually, my dog. And that was an experience I never thought of how. I had to spend 30 minutes at the checkpoints because I had a dog in my car that had no muzzle on the mouth. So in case you are traffic, get something for your dog. Right. So the final experience is, we know most of you in this room are not new to tourism. Some of you are deep into the experience in terms of planning trips and giving people the tourism experience. But then we showed you a few design thinking tools that you use to map out the journey of the persona. So we want to take from you what are some of the reflections on the tool and the activity that we did bring out through. A few reflections would be great. Because you're not new to flying. What was different? What did you take that you probably add to your process from the process?
So for me, I would say my best takeaway is the service that you provide. All along, everybody thinks, okay, you do the itinerary for the person, you send it to the person. All you need is to, he or she or the leader of the group is going to give you the flight itinerary. You go to the airport, you pick them, and that's it. But then I realized that you have to go beyond that. Number one is that, communicate with the person in terms of his challenges he's going to have up there. Because nowadays, people will ask you, I need a visa, or I'm going to take a visa from you. They are asking me of X, Y, Z. First, you don't think about their visa's application. All you know is that they have their visa and they are coming here, But now you have to all go into that. And that's why I think most of you will agree with me here that we are now fighting for the government to let our e-visa system come on, because that will also ease certain things. Now that COVID restrictions are being bypassed a bit, not that is gone, but we are bypassing it a bit, it's really relaxing. So this is refreshing to me. I don't know about my other colleagues, but what I'm saying is this is refreshing to me, and how we take it step by step is another thing that everybody should also take back home to their offices and their job.
Step by step, breaking down the process, I would say. Any other reflections?
Yeah, actually, in the meantime, I've been Googling it to see like what are the formats of this design thinking. Makes a lot of sense to me. We have a travel company and we have a team. And as well, maybe I should have a big design framework in the office and also communicate it to like the other staff, like drivers and as we all know, these are the pains and the gains, or the negative and the positive, and that we are all on the same line in going through that experience. Because that is one, knowing it yourself, but how do we translate it to the rest of the team?
So I was actually going to put Cindy on the spot to say something. I invited her. She's an experienced tour organizer. And post-COVID, I think what we all learned from COVID is the business of collaborating, using your strengths, so that if your strength is in, I don't know, bringing people onto a tour, and someone's strength is in cooking, you get together and then you provide the best service they can ever do. And Cindy invites me onto her tours to provide cooking bits, and things like that. And she's not afraid to do that because she knows her job. I cannot steal her job. And I know my job. She cannot do what I do. She cannot do well, So I think that some of the takeaway you also take from here, as it were, is network, and then see how best, perhaps you may be a good tour guide, or you may be a good customer service person. The other person can be back of house. So the two of you may be brilliant combination. Because right now, everybody wants to do job. And like we discussed earlier, it's not easy at all. The same people are all chasing. It's the same attractions we are going to. And as we said, when you go to all the attractions, you mean that what are you going to do there again? So by next year, all the people who are going on the tour will finish. They will finish. You have to create experiences yourselves. So yeah, I think those would be my reflections and closing comments. Unless someone has a...
So to buttress Padon's points, I think earlier he made the point about the boom. We all feel there's a boom, so we want to take part of it. But he also mentioned that there's going to be a bust, which I think as the gloom. And then if you recall what our brother was saying about the Australian, it was a negative that was turned into a positive. So I think that there are challenges in this industry, but if we should collaborate, we can do more. I'm from a car rental company. We have a lot of cars, very well maintained, and I'll be glad that we can do a partnership with a tour guide or a tour operator or something, learn from each other so that we can give good experiences to those who come. Thank you.
Great. Any reflections from the process? Yes, you can talk about the process more. Just reiterating what Ali has said, talk about including it and putting a framework for everybody to see, which is what we did. Everybody got involved in activities. That's a good one.
Okay, so I just want to add something after that. most of the time we don't have people patronizing the same product over and over. Because when someone visits a place, they don't want to go back. But if you have a system whereby a package is designed that every month or so somebody contributes, like insurance or something, somebody contributes. So when you're ready to go for any vacation, you just pack up and you're gone. So you don't have to wait for an occasion to come before you travel. Anytime you're ready, you can just pack up because you know you've already paid towards it. So something like an insurance that you've already paid, and then you can just pack up and go.
That's it. Reflections? Okay.
Just quick one. People also make the effort to do this continuously. I think for organizations, whether you have a travel agency or sometimes when you are going, you lose sight on doing this process or following this process for the new clients, for the new customers. But sometimes because we are going, over time, we lose sight of that. So I think it's important that we keep it at the back of our minds, that it's actually a continuing process, because the people that will come in and out and be experiencing your services will be different people. Therefore, their experiences will be different and their journeys will be different.
That's a one last one. Yeah. Maybe with also a lot of new upcoming maybe tour guides, tour operators. For me, if you go into tourism for business and money, it will be a tough journey. Yeah, tourism is a lot of sacrifice and a lot of. So first of all, it starts with passion, and passion is personal. So and if you believe in your own passion and you make it your business, you are not afraid of competition. And then and also the design thinking. You are there to satisfy the person, and sometimes you have to go the extra mile. The person arrives, what I thought is comfortable, this person is seeing it as not comfortable. And to have a bad experience, it's very hard to overcome. You need 10 good reviews to overcome one negative review. So you go very far to prevent any negative review. So it's you have to be passionate and
so I just share this disaster waterfall. So one of the trips we did, we're taking a company to a waterfall for lunch. So I was supposed to be there already, getting the lunch ready. So what I do is I actually cook on site, because it's all part of the fetish. So on my way, we saw that it was cloudy day, very overcast. So we started chanting the creeds, and we got there, started preparing, and then the heavens opened, just as they wanted. And the rice was on fire. I had marinated meat that was supposed to go on fire. We lit the fire, and then when the water was coming down, killed the fire, shifted slightly, made fire again. And it was, when you're in the moment of a situation like that, it's not fun. When you have clients, you have to serve, you have to satisfy. And at a point, the director of the organization said, no, it's too cloudy, this rain, let's go. So all I could see was they were leaving. So Cindy and I came up with an idea that I offered to go and serve them in their office in the middle of the week. So all the food that we have here, that one is Jara, we're going to. But the interesting thing is, just as they left where they were, there was a big thunderstorm, thunder and lightning that actually struck the tree, and the tree broke. and fell onto the shed that they had just left. So we were just beside us, we were like, what just happened? I mean, if this tree had, if they hadn't left at that particular moment, the tree would have fallen on somebody and caused some accident or something. So all these things happen in tourism. If you don't have heart, you can't. And like Cindy said, if you don't, if you're doing this because you want to make money, you know, you're going, the money thing. You must see it as a business, yes, but it's not. The money comes in much later. You know, we were talking about that. The money comes in much later because it's a numbers game. It's about 500,000 people a year before you can make ends meet. You can't do that in a month. You know, can you do it in a day? So throughout the year, you break it down. Every month you have to sell about 80 people so that before you can actually say that you're running your business. If you're doing what, you know, when you are the head of the scouts or the school club, the football club, or the whatever club, and you know, the club members have contributed and you're going to the beach, you know, those are what we call them excursion. It's not top business, you know. And I think that's a lot of that is what is happening now. Everybody's jumping on the thing. They're doing all these excursions, you know, because they are in some society, some group of friends, you know, the money will be exhausted at one time. And this gentleman over there, and we did some work together. We put out the flyer. We have 50. I used to do this with Joy FM. So even with Joy FM, I'll be on radio. We do Rinando. We talk about the thing, and then when I come out of the studio, my phone ringing. This video going. We have about 12, 13 people who have called and booked. Oh, so this one we have to come with you. The person who called and said we have to come with you, then the first will say, oh, I have a food. So I'm thinking that by next year, the equilibrium will set in, and those people who are doing the hobby will stop because they will see that the money they're expecting is not happening. And only those who see tourism as a serious business, where they have the passion for, will remain. So the food safari thing I was talking about is that Madam Cindy and Dr. Very, very. Next, you should all look out for it. Next one. What's the spelling?
So that's, this is partnership with Ghana.
Yes, the Ghana.
So I think it's not that's makes it make like deep dive. They go deeper into the system. Yes.
So I like spelling
JOMINAIKO. The name was there before I came in.
So JOLINAIKO.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Kawamoka too is something different. It's also like now we talk about partnership.
Yeah.
Kawamoka is there with them. And then
So the Kawamoka is a coffee brand.
Yeah.
And to part of their story is to show where they get their profit from. And like you said, they get their profit from this all women operating farms in the islands. And so they organize occasionally these trips to take people who are interested to the source of their profit. So you get a better understanding of their value chain. And then you stick with Kawamoka for the rest of your life. Like I have. So so the tour, they wanted to do a tour, so they did it in collaboration with.
Maybe just a short, like if you check your Nago, please check it on social media. You are like impacted by COVID and our
I think all the serious tour companies were impacted by it.
Then, but the Kawamoka is we run a lot in the activity as a and that is very bad.
Right.
We've never had a workshop that went so thank you so much. This will be great. Another round of applause for everybody. I was chatting with John that we're happy to do a few of these in this month for you guys if you're interested in thinking about. I think that the one thing that we want you to walk away with is this concept of customer centricity, right? And I think Joanne was mentioning Joanne was mentioning it earlier, right? You can get to the place where the point where you say, this is what we do, you want to come with us, right? And you really have to ask yourself, whether you should stick to that. Sometimes you need to stick to that because you're running a business. But sometimes you need to pause and see what you can do with the group of people that are in front of you. And to us, that's called customer centricity, right? Being focused on the customer, maybe 70% of the time, right? I'm not going to say 100% of the time because sometimes it's not realistic, And then the second thing is journey mapping, thinking about the journey map of the experience. The journey map of the experience. Right? We saw it in a number of the rooms, right? Where when you think of the journey map, there's so many things small things that happen on that journey that change the complete experience. Pajon was telling me about things like parking and where the bus is facing when they get out of the place. Little things like that, right? You miss the parking and the experience is completely different. So customer centricity, journey mapping. Words. So thank you very much. We think we're going to do another, we're going to do a WangoWango design thinking session where we think that this is what we're thinking, that we're going to put a couple of people together to design their trip. And we're happy to do that with you. Selfishly, on our behalf, on our side, we have a lot of facilitators that need to continue to do projects that are selfish. It's great for us to continue to do things so that we can all learn together. It's great. Like I said, we've never been here tonight. So thank you so much. They don't want to go, right? Question. Picture or something.
There were lots of service providers. So I want to plan the microtext today. Tell us what you do so we can approach you while we go out.
Right.
So I'll hold the mic. I'll hold the mic.
Right.
Eli was a freelance tour guide.
From the freelance tour guide. If there is a someone freelance tour guide.
Sharon is now entering. In the end, we like to
behind you.
So I'm now figuring out.
Don't quite.
Kwame, do you have your unique experiences with Encounter Ghana, Adventure Nature and Culture?
Hi, my name is Sarah Leticia Sari. I'm an online sales executive with Travel Plans.
Hello, my name is Sarah and I'm a student of
Now entry.
My name is
My name is
Peaks and valleys out.
Peaks and valleys outdoors.
Is Ghana's only paragliding pilot.
Gladly pilot.
My name is Vincent Panoyele. I'm with the CCAC, United Nations Environment Program CCAC. I'm interested in tourism, so I came with a friend.
Justin Abrini. We are a partner with now Action. Also, we're looking for sponsorship to travel to Barbados. Barbados.
Barbados.
Oh, I know what's
I'm Mano.
My name is Sabrina. I'm a marketing executive at the Kanka Rental.
My name is Samuel Xiao. I'm a director of New Plans.
I don't need to actually say this. He didn't mention his name at all. So
No, that was before. I'm Bernard. I'm with New Plans as well. So I give
all right, thank you all for coming. We are trying to think that update this.